Hello, I want to welcome you to this discussion where we want to focus on work commitment. In our previous discussions, we looked at what work is, among other things. So now, I want us to pay our attention to work commitment as an important aspect of sociology of work and occupation. In this discussion, we want to understand what is meant by work commitment. We'll also look at the types of work commitment. Then we'll look at the benefits an organization gets by having committed workers. And lastly, we will look at what organizations can do to make their workers more committed to the organization. Indeed, you know that a good organization, or for an organization to prosper, it must have committed workers. And that is why work commitment is an important area that is of interest not only to scholars but also organizational managers. Welcome to this discussion. What then is work commitment? Work commitment has been defined differently by different scholars. For instance, work commitment refers to the level of enthusiasm an employee has towards their assigned tasks, as well as the feeling of responsibility towards the goals, mission, and vision of the organization. Again, work commitment has been understood as the positive attitude of an employee in providing work or services with a mindset of helping the organization achieve its goals. However, work commitment has also been defined as a strong belief in acceptance of the organizational goals and willingness to exert considerable effort on its behalf and desire to maintain its membership. These are three important definitions that have been put forward by scholars in their attempt to explain what exactly work commitment is. When we look at these definitions, what comes out clearly is that for you to be a committed worker, you must be enthusiastic, you must have a belief in what the organization do in terms of its goals, its mission, as well as vision. But again, you must have a positive attitude towards the organization. Lastly, for you to be understood as a committed worker, you must also accept and be able to put extra effort in helping the organization to achieve its goals. Therefore, work commitment, in short, we may look at it as the belief a worker has and the positive attitude a worker has and the desire that a worker has in terms of helping the organization to achieve its goals, its mission, as well as its vision. Work commitment can be understood in different ways, or rather there are different typologies of work commitment. One is called affective commitment. Affective commitment refers to the degree to which an individual is psychologically attached to an organization through feelings of loyalty, warmth, and belongingness. That is, the feeling that the psychological attachment that you have to an organization is what we call affective commitment. Affective worker normally has a high level of engagement with their company or organization, and this can be seen in the decision by such a worker to wear company uniforms, attend work-related events organized by that organization, offer his services free in pursuit of that organization's goals, be punctual at work, and also one that has internalized and espoused the company's objectives. They also try as much as they can to meet organizational objectives, and they feel that when organizations succeed, they have also succeeded. Again, an employee with affective commitment will try as much as possible to stay in that organization and has no desire to leave that organization, even if other organizations offer him a better work environment, such as greater pay, greater autonomy, and also a lot of leeway on how they do their job. They may also resist the temptation to leave an organization even if the offers being given to them by other organizations appear to be those that make their job more prestigious and also better working hours and conditions of service. Therefore, when we talk about affective commitment, we simply mean the psychological attachment an employee has in a given organization, and for which the organization feels that he has a future in that organization and will try as much as possible to continue working in that organization, even if other opportunities are offered elsewhere. Another type of work commitment is called continuance commitment, which refers to an employee feeling that they have to stay in an organization because of the cost of living that organization is too high or too great. And this one is related to basically the financial benefits that an employee gets in that organization. If they believe that the other organization may not offer them the kind of benefits they are getting in the current organization, that particular worker may feel or may remain committed to the current organization because of the benefits that they derive from that organization. Therefore, continuous commitment simply means that an employee stays with an organization because they have built up enough benefits, such as for having worked in an organization over the years, their salaries have been increased to a level that they know if they move from that company to another company, they may not offer the same. They have also over the years accumulated greater benefits and pension that they know it will be not easy for another organization to give them the same. These employees, therefore, they remain in the organization not because their heart is in that organization, but because of the financial benefits they get in that organization. So continuous commitment is more attached to the kind of benefits a worker derives from an organization. These workers will continue being in that organization even if the working environment is not good, but they feel that the benefits they receive in that organization far much outweighs any danger or bad working conditions that they may be going through in that organization. So that continuous commitment does not necessarily translate into hard work. These people, they rarely perform at a higher level because they're in that organization not because their heart is there. Their heart could be elsewhere, but they continue being that organization because of the financial benefits that they consider as being superior in that organization compared to what they would get elsewhere if they were to leave that organization. Another type of commitment is called normative commitment. Normative commitment occurs when a worker feels a sense of obligation to the organization, even if he or she is unhappy in the role they are currently playing in a particular organization. This sense of obligation comes from several factors. For instance, if a worker feels that an organization has invested in him, such as in form of training, in payment of school fees, or is advancing for them loans that they pay without interest, so that a worker feels that this organization has given me a chance to grow, for instance, by taking me to school when I didn't have money, or by accepting me to work with them when I didn't have enough experience, or they are offering me financial services in form of loans and credit, which are far much less costly compared to what is offered by financial institutions. So the benefits that are there, an employee feels that, or a worker feels that they need to remain committed to that organization because they feel that this organization has done so much to uplift them professionally, to uplift them financially, and even to uplift them psychologically. So remaining in that organization or being committed to an organization, they look at it as a way of paying back to what an organization has done for them. So such workers feel that they have an obligation to remain in that organization as a way of saying thank you to that organization for having considered them, for having supported them, and for having helping them to grow financially and also to grow in terms of their career. So normative commitment is a case in which you feel that you have an obligation to remain in an organization because the organization has supported you in the past. Therefore, the only way to say thank you or to reciprocate the support the organization has given you is to be committed and therefore remain in that particular organization. What are the drivers of work commitment? One is communication. Communication, in this sense, refers to the degree to which employees express themselves openly on job-related matters. It also relates to the extent to which employees perceive that their ideas and concerns are heard and addressed by management. It also entails provision of clear instructions and information about work methods, as well as performance standards. It is argued that workers who are satisfied with the way communication is structured in an organization may feel motivated to work and therefore be more committed to organization. It means therefore that when you have proper communication channels structured on how grievances of employees are addressed or are channeled, and also clear ways of addressing them, then you are enhancing chances of employees being committed to that particular organization. We don't want an organization that the workers are never impressed by an organization where there is communication divide between the juniors and senior staff, and where communication channels are not clear, and where instructions about how work should be done is not clear, as well as work methods. Otherwise, where communication structures are clear, systems of communication are clear, systems of responding to grievances are clear, and systems of addressing concerns of workers are clear, then that kind of work atmosphere has the potential of enhancing employees or workers to be more committed to the organization. So communication is an important ingredient in terms of how workers' commitment to the organization can be enhanced or can be inspired. The other driver of work commitment is what we call diversity and inclusion. What do we mean by this? Inclusion refers to the degree to which workers feel that they are valued regardless of their socio-demographic characteristics. It is indicated by the participation in decision-making, affirmation that organizational policies and practices foster diversity, and management embraces diversity. It also involves indiscriminate recognition in pay, promotion, opportunities for personal growth, such as training, among others. Further, it also one that embraces teamwork, cultivates cordial relations between workers and members of management, and also fosters workers' commitment to the organization. When we talk about diversity and inclusion, what we basically mean that we want a work environment or an organization that does not discriminate. It considers people equally, fairly, regardless of their age, level of education, race, ethnicity, religious affiliation, among others. So that when things like pay increase is being considered, it should be done fairly, so that one gender or people of particular age or ethnic group do not feel that they are being discriminated when it comes to pay, they are being discriminated when it comes to promotion, and they are being discriminated when it comes to opportunities for personal growth, such as being offered scholarship to advance their studies and therefore be better placed for higher responsibilities in the organization. So an organization that understands diversity and that is also inclusive is an environment that has the potential of making workers more motivated. Organizations are therefore encouraged to ensure that policies that address diversity, policies that address inclusion are well structured and are well formulated, and the implementation is done to ensure that everybody feel that they are part and parcel of the family of workers that are in that particular organization. Otherwise, if a section of workers feel that they are being disadvantaged when it comes to, say, rewards, when it comes to, say, punishment, and when it comes to participation in organizational processes, that feeling of exclusion or that feeling of discrimination could demoralize those workers and therefore make them less and less committed to their work. So this is an important area that organizations need to carefully focus on and put on policies that ensure that they are properly. Another issue that has the potential of driving work commitment is managerial support. Managerial support refers to the degree to which workers feel supported by top management, their immediate manager or supervisors, co-workers, as well as organizational policies. Managerial support also entails encouraging balance between work and personal responsibility, or what in human resource practice we call work-life balance. Management should also foster flexibility so that workers have control over when, where, and how they perform their work. Lastly, management should also offer workers opportunities to learn, grow, and advance in their careers based on job performance. We want an organization where senior managers, supervisors, or superiors generally are supportive of what the people below them are doing. If it is resources they require in terms of additional skills, then you need a management structure that supports training of workers so that their skills are enhanced and they are made, they are better now placed to handle even more complex responsibilities. If it is financial support that they need, we need an organization that is able to provide all those forms of financial support as long as those expenditures or those requests are properly justified. We need an organization that ensures that the personal obligations of workers is properly balanced with their obligation to the organization. We need an environment where workers have room to attend to personal matters without necessarily being denied or having to go without permission. If a worker has a sick mother, a sick child, a sick member of the family, it is important that this is properly understood in the organization, and such workers are given permission to attend personal matters. Because some of these personal matters, if left unattended, they can also affect the psychosocial state of the workers and in the process undermine their productivity in the organization. We want an environment where workers are encouraged to be of help to each other. If one is bereaved, we want workers to come on board to help comfort the sick, to help comfort the bereaved ones. When workers have special occasions in their lives, such as a wedding, we want an environment where workers are able to come together to celebrate those important life events with co-workers. That kind of environment where there is support from seniors, support from co-workers, and also policies that are friendly to workers, that kind of work environment will, of course, have a greater potential of making employees more committed to the organization. Work commitment can be understood in different ways, or rather there are different typologies of work commitment. One is called affective commitment. Affective commitment refers to the degree to which an individual is psychologically attached to an organization through feelings of loyalty, warmth, and belongingness. That is, the feeling that the psychological attachment that you have to an organization is what we call affective commitment. Affective worker normally has a high level of engagement with their company or organization, and this can be seen in the decision by such a worker to wear company uniforms, attend work-related events organized by that organization, offer his services free in pursuit of that organization's goals, be punctual at work, and also one that has internalized and espoused the company's objectives. They also try as much as they can to meet organizational objectives, and they feel that when organizations succeed, they have also succeeded. Again, an employee with effective commitment will try as much as possible to stay in that organization and has no desire to leave that organization, even if other organizations offer him a better The other benefits or advantage of having committed workers is innovation. Commitment brings ownership and more creativity to the tasks. Committed workers thrive on new and innovative ideas and find it exciting in implementing new ideas. Commitment at work also brings in value addition through active participation in organization-related discussions. Committed employees bring great ideas on work methods and are always ready to embrace new work methods. We know that if you are committed, you are likely to take new challenges because you are motivated, you feel positive, and everything you look at, you always want to see how best can it be achieved. You challenge yourself to embrace new ways of doing work, to embrace new ways of presenting grievances, to embrace new ways of addressing problems that are faced by the organization. Because you are committed, you work under very limited provision, and you always associate yourself and have positive attitude toward organization. And you also feel that when organization succeeds, you also succeeded. Therefore, any new idea that you think can push the organization to a greater level, you'll always explore. And when you explore it, you will become more and more innovative. So innovation is an important element that can come if we have workers who are committed. Of course, we know that innovation has its own advantages. For instance, quality and faster production. Innovation can also give an organization a competitive edge, so that in terms of competition in the market, they can have an edge of their competitors. Innovation has also the chance of giving an organization a better reputation, because it is doing things in ways that even their clients appreciate, and the process they are regarded or perceived positively by their clients and the outside world. So innovation is an important element that also needs to be encouraged. And one way of encouraging innovation organization is to make workers more committed to their work. How do we increase work commitment? Of course, we know that there are individuals who can naturally be committed to their work, but there are others that we need to prepare ground for them, or to have ways of encouraging them to be more committed to their work. Now, one of the ways through which we can increase work commitment in organization is through what we call orientation and induction. In other words, newly recruited workers, we need to take them through what the company stands for in terms of values, in terms of vision, and in terms of goals. We need to inform workers upfront what kinds of decisions they are allowed to make and what is expected of them each day, so that when we set standards that workers need to meet beforehand, we're challenging them. We're challenging them to be more committed, so that at the end of the day, they are able to meet those challenges. When you tell workers that what is within their authority to do without necessarily seeking advice from their officers, then again we are making it clear that when it comes to certain matters, they need to move ahead and do them. When it comes to others, then they need to seek advice of their colleagues or their superiors, so that work does not stop going on because advice from others was sought and has not come. Therefore, a worker is unable to move forward. When there is clear categorization in terms of the authority that a worker has against those that he needs to seek the concurrence of their colleagues or superiors, then it is easier for that worker to move on with what he is permitted to do, as he sets aside those that consultations are needed. Voluntary induction also means that we undertake regular performance reviews and provide feedback to workers about their performance. In other words, orientation does not simply mean that we are introducing workers to what is going on in the organization. Orientation also means that we are telling workers what we expect of them, and also the fact that at some point we will evaluate how they perform, and the results of that evaluation will form a basis of other human resource activities, such as pay increment, promotion, and other forms of rewards that might follow. So all these things a worker needs to be told beforehand, so that when a worker has a clear picture of what organization stands for, of what is expected of him, then that worker can move with the knowledge that certain parameters have to be met, and in the process, it is easier for that worker to become more committed to what they're doing, because they know exactly what is expected of them. We can also increase the commitment of workers through remuneration. Organizations provide fair and competitive salaries to their workers. Of course, we know that competitive wages or salaries alone may not guarantee employee loyalty, but there's a high possibility that People who are poorly paid may not be more committed to that organization, and at all times they may always be having the intention to quit the organization, so they may not give their best. So it is important that organizations are properly to come up with reward structures that appreciates the effort of workers and also appreciates the standard of living from time to time, and also those that understands or effective response to the way employees in other sectors are rewarded. So that if you don't compare, rather if you don't pay your workers well, then they may get the temptation to move to other organizations where they are likely to be paid well. So organizations should ensure that they pay their workers well, and by well we mean a salary that is competitive, a salary that recognizes their qualifications, that recognizes their responsibilities, that recognizes the risks and complexity of tasks assigned to them, and also those that recognizes the experience and skills to that organization, so that those employees feel that they are properly appreciated, they are properly rewarded. That feeling that organization is rewarding you well and also appreciates the services you're offering it can be a very huge source of motivation, and therefore it is one thing that must be encouraged at all times. Another area that organizations can focus on to increase workers' commitment is the area of personal growth. Organizations should provide opportunities for workers interested in advancing their studies, financial and moral support, and make professional development of workers part of organizational policy. Organizations should also offer promotion opportunities for workers who are keen at acquiring new skills and knowledge in their areas. Reward workers who have shown commitment to innovation, new work methods, and accepting challenges. Organizations should also let workers know that they are valued and respected in the organization by sparing resources to recognize their unique contributions in the organization. Personal growth. Every worker wants to advance in terms of career. Therefore, we don't want an organization where somebody works in the same workstation forever and under the same pay. Offer workers opportunity to grow in terms of salary, in terms of career, and also in terms of the skills accumulation, so that you offer them opportunities to go for further studies, either in terms of giving them commission with pay or in terms of financially catering for their advanced training. If that is done, then we are likely to encourage an atmosphere whereby workers will feel committed and will freely work and ensure that organization achieves its objectives at the end of the day. This is an important area, and what we have discussed here may not entirely be what work commitment is, but it offers gateway to greater information and greater knowledge about what work commitment is. You need to go through them carefully, listen to the discussion carefully, take notes on issues that you think you need, or rather need further clarification, so that at appropriate time you may raise them and you may discuss them together. Thank you so much for listening to me.